thing.
My wife's in bed by
You guys ready to start?
Yep.
Ready? Meeting will come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Meeting will come to order.
And first on the agenda are, and really the only thing on the agenda are the CC&R changes. So in the, I can't recall the exact part, but we have the recommendation from the Rules and Regs Committee to change cumulative voting, to remove cumulative voting, to remove district delegates, to change the ability to have a solar contract for more than 1 year. Right now, the CC&Rs limit all contracts to 1 year or less. And then also to remove short-term rental restrictions. So you want to take cumulative voting first?
Yes.
So the ballot is before you. We need to approve that. I would recommend that we approve it provisionally and give one board member the final, or two board members the final authority after we get it back from the attorneys as far as the dates, so that we can mail it out, have the dates on there, not have to call another board meeting. So one board member would have a delegation of authority to approve the final ballot with any changes that are made today to confirm that it's correct.
Okay.
Eric, I'm sorry, but could you please explain what cumulative voting means?
Sure. Cumulative voting is right now each year there's either 4 board directors that are up for election or 3. Next year, even though there'll be 3, it's only 1 homeowner because the other 2 are from the builder. But in the future, even years will have 4 board members up for election. Odd years will have 3 board members up for election. Each year going forward for a 2-year
And it
term.
comes up every year?
Every year either 4.
I'm sorry, I'm new.
No, it's fine. So every year it'll either be 4 board members or 3 board members. Currently, cumulative voting lets one house vote for however many positions are open. So one house could say, you know what, there's 4 board members, but I'm going to vote all 4 by votes for 1. And it causes quite a bit of confusion with homeowners because they don't realize that they have 4 votes. They still only vote for 1 person, and they'll do a fractional vote. So the thought is to remove cumulative voting so each house just has 1 vote. So if there's 4 people up for election, you still have 1 vote for 1 person instead of 4 votes.
But one household has 1 vote. If it has 2 people, it's not 2
Just
votes?
one house and 1 vote.
Why would that be when different people can vote different ways? I mean, that doesn't seem very
Okay.
diplomatic.
Look at it this way. Your house owns 1 vote at a time.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just asking.
Okay. When there's 3 people up for 3 positions, you can't vote all 3 votes for 1 person. You have to split your votes for each open position, and it can't be the same person. So if Jerry is up and there's 3 positions, you can't give Jerry 3 votes. You can only give him 1, and the other 2 votes have to go to 2 other people or not vote at all.
It helps, what happens is if one house, say there's 100 in a group, 100 households in a group, they could skew the election if there's 3 people running. If all of the 100 houses voted for the same person 3 times, it's 100 people that are controlling the election.
So you're saying that people would actually get 99 other households together to try to do something like that?
It's possible.
Yes, it's possible, and there has been groups that have come together before, yes.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Well, if there's 3 people up, your household is still going to get 3 votes. Okay? You just can't give them all to 1 person.
Just that would not be. So to remove cumulative voting would remove that. So if there's 3 people up for election, that house would still only have 1 vote. You can only vote for 1 of the 3.
I'm not just saying it's wrong. It just seems rather complicated if you ask me.
I thought cumulative voting meant you couldn't give all 3 votes to 1 person.
No,
I thought you still had 3 votes.
You still have 3 votes,
Still
but
have
you
3
just can't
votes.
give all 3 to the same person.
Yeah.
That's not your understanding, Eric?
Yeah, if there's one person running, you get one vote. If there's three people, then you get three. Three positions.
Yeah.
We're going to make that clear to Eric.
Have we answered your question? To the best of my intelligence level, yes.
And you could also ask why don't one house, if you have two people living there, have two votes? It's not each house is a member. So if you have 5 people in title, you still only have one vote for that house.
So it's actually a residence vote. Would you say that?
Yes.
Okay, why don't you just use the term resident vote? Residence.
Your house is like one share of stock.
I beg your pardon?
Your house is like one share of stock in the corporation.
Why don't you just use the term residence has one vote, and then I think it might be.
Yeah. But in essence, it's your house that's voting, no matter how many people live in the house.
I understand residence to be one house.
Yeah.
If my residence is my house, that's one.
Correct.
house.
But if you have another person living with you, your residence still only has one vote.
I get that.
Okay.
I get it.
So, any other discussion?
One vote per candidate.
No, one vote per position.
Position,
Yeah.
yes. So if there's 3 positions, that particular residence gets 3 votes.
Correct.
Correct.
He gets to vote for each of the 3 positions.
But you would not be able to pool your votes and vote.
Yeah, you can't pool your votes to one candidate.
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
Any other discussion? Okay, we'll call for a vote. All in favor of going out for the CC&R change on cumulative voting?
Aye.
Aye.
Votes unanimous?
There was no motion.
Huh?
Who made the motion?
Oh,
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
okay. Okay, the next one is district delegates. This is to eliminate the position of the district delegates. It's been, it cost us thousands of dollars, several $1,000s to run an election for district delegates.
Could you explain to me what a district, I'm sorry, but I don't know what a district delegate is.
District delegates are what I think you would talk, say you were in New York, like a ward boss. They're the person in your neighborhood that has about 100 residents within their district, and they are urged to get out the vote. And all they do is go around and ring doorbells and make phone calls to those 100 residences in their district to make sure that we have enough people voting. And it costs us several thousands of dollars to do it.
I mean, this is, I don't see Four Seasons as anything like the boroughs of New York. I'm sorry, but, well, I'm not sorry, but anyway.
That's why we're doing.
It was in our CC&R, so that's what we're here.
That's why we're doing away with it.
That's fine, but I mean,
Yeah, the thought behind that is that on large communities such as this, other communities that are large have a problem having an annual election. Where I live, we have 1,300 homes. We haven't had an annual election in 10 years because we can't even get 25% of the people to vote. Here, we have a much more active community, and they do vote. So we're paying money to have district delegates, and then if the district delegate doesn't come to the election like we had this last year, where 2 district delegates didn't come, they had something that came up. All the votes from those districts they didn't count.
And under the district delegate system, if the district doesn't get 50% of the vote,
Correct.
the district delegate can cast 100% of the votes in that district for whomever they want.
That I don't like.
Well, that's why we're doing away with
That's
it.
why we're doing it.
why would we need that? Just.
That's why we're here.
We're trying to. Okay, well, I don't know that. That's why I'm here.
Yeah,
That's why
we're-
I asked the question is because I'm not aware of these terms. So
Yeah,
we
the-
understand.
These 2 rules were both imported from a previous, though actually the HIMMET HOA by the builder, just moved over. And like Eric said, they're more or less put in there to make sure there's sufficient number of votes that it gets counted.
Thank you very much.
I make a motion to do away with the district delegates in our CC&Rs.
Second.
Moved and seconded to eliminate the district delegates as a CC&R change. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
We still have to vote on it. These all are going to go out for membership vote. They're approving the ballot to go out.
Okay, on C up there, solar contracts. Right now, the CC&Rs only allow us to have one-year contracts. In order to get solar electricity or power for either warming the water itself or generating electricity, the most cost-efficient way and practical way for us to do it is to have a multi-year contract, where over the life of the contract, we take the savings that are generated by the electricity that's being made or the hot water that's being made, and it goes into the payment for the system. This is the way most of the homeowners here who have solar panels pay for it. We want to be able to do that, particularly at the courts, to heat the hot water pool and eventually to generate possibly electricity for other purposes. So it requires us to have a multi-year contract. And what this CC&R change would do would be allow us to enter into long-term contracts to generate energy, such as solar. So, need a nomination?
Make a motion to allow the board to sign contracts for multiple years when it comes to solar, and utilities.
For this ballot.
It's been moved and seconded. Further discussion?
Who seconded?
I did.
Okay.
Question.
Yes.
The abolition of the one-year limit, that only applies to solar?
Correct.
What about the conservancy coming
Conservancy.
down at us?
I think that's a different animal. But
Would we-
if you think we should do that for the conservancy, then we can add it on.
I'm not suggesting what we should do, I'm asking the question,
Oh,
if we're eliminating the one-year limit only for solar, does that tie our hands when we may have another situation coming at us where we may also need a relaxation of the one-year limit?
well, we'd have to be very carefully wording it, otherwise we would really open the barn door to a lot of contracts.
Well, I would just like to add in there the contract, the long-term management contract for the conservancy, period. Because if we don't, then we're going to have to come back to it next year
Okay.
when it comes up, and
Well,
we're going to send
add
another
that,
ballot out, which
can
costs
we?
us money.
I can check that. That is such a different animal. I'd be concerned if we're going to buy new waters with this.
Yeah.
Clear cut issue with something that's not so clear cut. Because the long-term management plan, theoretically, you could renew it every year and still fall under the one-year guideline.
Yeah. We can make the conservancy an annual, contract.
I'm fine with that, I just raised the issue, so
Yeah,
maybe I'll
well,
go back for a second
I
change.
understand.
That's fine, then I can live with the motion as proposed.
Question.
Yes.
I was just wondering, is there any information on long-term studies on solar for, the large type buildings that we have that you want to put solar on? And also, does our management company, who also manages other facilities, have any information on the savings or not savings of using solar in a situation like this?
There are other associations that have solar. I'd have to have to ask if they would be willing to share their records. Like if somebody wanted our records, I'd have to ask and share that. I know just in the savings that we have in the LED lights that we installed last year, that return on investment's going even better than the year and 2 months that we anticipated.
I'm sure it's a wonderful idea. I'm just curious as if there's any long-term studies on long-term contracts versus short-term contracts or something like that, because there's...
Well, the short-term contract would prohibit us from doing it because you have to pay so much up front. You have to basically buy all of the solar equipment, which is our budget could not afford. So there's no such thing as a good short-term contract because a short-term contract means you buy it outright.
Would we be leasing it or buying it?
Do what?
Would we be leasing the solar equipment or buying it?
No, we're buying it on a long-term contract, just like you bought your house or you buy an automobile or something. It's a major investment and you pay for it over time. The advantage is you're generating electricity while you're buying it, and you can either sell that back to the electricity company, or if you buy one that's just producing hot water, let's say, for a swimming pool, you're able to use your swimming pool year-round because you have the solar heat.
Thank you very much.
And you're reducing the dependence on electricity or gas to generate during the warmer months.
So we had the motion?
Yeah, there's a, John made a motion, Jerry seconded.
Right. So now discussion.
Okay. Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And last is the short-term rental restrictions.
Yeah. Our rental restrictions that are in the CC&Rs allow for 7-day rentals. And for the Springdales, it's different.
6 months.
It's 6-month rentals. So they are different. And they have the potential of becoming real problems for the board and the association in terms of people who come in and out. They're not here long enough to know the rules, or if they know them, to even obey them, and they're gone.
Absolutely.
So I think it's premature right now to address this issue until we figure out what we really want to do. The problem is exacerbated by the big get-togethers that they're having out in the desert, Coachella, Stagecoach, places like that. They are paying premium prices to rent for 2 or 3 weeks, as close as they can get, and apparently they've reached banning as far as a close place goes, which, as you know, is across the street from us. So we're probably next, and they're offering very high payment options to homeowners, which make it attractive to them. But at the same time, I don't see any benefit at all to the association to being engaged in short-term rentals.
Yeah, several of my friends have places in Indio and Coachella, and they said that as many as 8 or 10 people in a 1 or a small 2-bedroom apartment.
Absolutely.
And you can imagine what we'd
What do you
suffer.
do? I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying. I'm just kind of curious why we can't make some sort of a decision.
Well, I think we really need to study this issue a little more before we go in for a CC&R change, because I'm not sure how we want to change the CC&Rs. Do we want to make...
So in the meantime, we possibly could have these people.
I mean, right now, if you don't live in the Springdales, you can rent your house for 7 days at a time. If you live in the Springdales, you're restricted to 6 months, which is unequal.
Yeah, why?
The Springdales have a different set of sub-declarations in CC&Rs because they're condominiums, so they have things that are specific to them. And that was one of the things that was created years ago. It really hasn't been an issue as of yet. And going through this change, it was something that popped out as far as an issue or potential issue that's different.
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of movement in this country and all over the world with these short-term rentals. There's a name that they call them, Sorry?
Airbnb.
Airbnb, exactly.
Yeah.
I think for one thing, that it's a dangerous situation to put this community in because our security is so lax as it is right now. With only having one gate manned until 8:30 at night. Some of these things I just don't understand, but because I haven't lived here long enough. But the point is inviting people in with multiple guests and multiple cars and the drugs and everything else that go along with it, I think puts our residents in an unfair situation because we bought in here because it's a gated community. Look, I can't control the CC&Rs any more than anybody else can, but I'm hoping that, the board takes into consideration the feeling that, we have disabled people. I'm one of them. We've never even been able to get a grasp on this speeding issue. But I really hate to see Four Seasons turn into an Airbnb type situation with people coming and going, because if you take a look at the condominiums, which I live just on the other side of it on Clark Creek, where would you park? Where would these people park?
Well,
Yeah,
and if you think it's bad there, what happens in the Springdales if you rent out places like that for Coachella, let's say, and they move 8 people into one of those small places and they each have their own car?
100%, but
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing in trying to settle some of these problems like this is
Yeah.
looking at it from a health and safety issue.
Yeah.
And if you've got people parking in odd places, you're not permitting fire trucks, ambulances, first responders to be able to do their job. If we've got people that don't know the rules here that just park because they're drunk when they come back anywhere they see fit, I think it's a problem that could only get worse.
Now, that's why we're anticipating that as an issue.
Certainly,
And we're trying to overcome it.
I'm extremely thankful for you. I just need to understand how everything works, and that's the only way I can do it, by asking questions. I appreciate all your answers, they're very good.
Well, hopefully, what we're trying to do is protect us from that exact situation where
Right.
we have cars parked all over, people in condos, or even my house, which is, 2,300 square feet or something. You put 8 or 9 people in there, that's not good either. So we just don't need that kind of rental.
Yeah, and
Period.
that's
It's not safe.
The whole,
Donna, did you have something?
Yeah, I just had a question because I thought, from my standpoint, being part of rules, that what we were doing with the short-term rental restrictions is we were saying that we don't want any Airbnbs in here. You can't treat it as a hotel and do a short term. So I guess I'm not understanding why you don't want to move forward with restricting that and making sure that we have, maybe it's like Springdale, 6 months or something, that you have to be here a minimum.
Well, I think what we want to do is make sure we have vetted the proposal community-wide before we come to a solution. I'm concerned that we have 2 different standards right now, one for the Springdales and one for the other people. And if we change everyone to the Springdales, why are we, in this motion, bringing the Springdales back to something different?
Well, the Springdales, my understanding was we were restricting where you could not Airbnb or do a short term. And I know right now we have a lot of probably investors in here that are renting the homes as well as the condominiums. So to me, both should be a minimum of like a 6-month term that you have to rent a house because we do have a lot of rentals in here as well.
But if we're going to go to 6 months for everybody, why are the Springdales even mentioned in this CC&R change?
I didn't realize they were mentioned in the CC.
See, something's out of whack, and I don't want to go forward with something that doesn't make sense or has to be modified as we go downstream.
Revisit, does it have to go all the way back to the lawyers, or can it just come back to rules and we can revisit and re-propose it in a more?
I think that the rules and regs get proposed, and we still have to go back to the attorneys because there's so many items in the CC&R that have to be crossed out, and then it goes back out for a vote.
Yeah. Vivian?
Any rentals decide doing here or a year's lease, and I turn a paper in at the front desk. If you're dealing with the 7 days here or the 6 months here, if they're not turning those papers in, how do you even know there's a renter in there? They're not gonna come and tell you.
And that's part of the problem.
I think until we get to the point where the builder's out here and we quit letting people in that front gate that just say, I'm coming to see the new houses, we're fighting a losing battle, because I've quit wasting my time in it now because I understand what's involved, but I have many times brought up the fact that there's too many houses in here that have 2 transponders activated, and there's only 1 car, and that transponder goes to God knows who. So until we have a better control over that, I think we're spinning our wheels. It's all in the same boat.
And even with transponders, people give out their code,
Get in there.
and you can come in 24/7 with the code. Andy?
Yeah, I put in to speak, so I didn't realize it was going to be open forum. So I was going to ask similar type things. It seems like I've been here 3 years now, and it does seem like it's very difficult to enforce the CC&Rs. Some CC&Rs are easy, like architectural things, that are obvious, but it's such a difficult thing to enforce. And like she said, how would you know how long somebody's staying in someone's house? We have neighbors, we've followed all the procedures in our neighborhood who have their children and grandchildren living with them full time and have for 2 years. And we have put in, our neighbors have put in the information. They said take pictures, we take pictures. And we keep saying, what can be done? Nothing, because it's too difficult to prove. This was before Eric came back. I haven't tried it again because most of us have given up, because we have people that move in here, even full-time residents, who don't care about the CC&Rs, and they'll tell you to your face they don't care about the CC&Rs. And when we've asked them not to keep parking in front of our house overnight all the time, they say, you guys take these rules seriously? They actually say this to us. So I'm wondering if there's a better way to actually enforce, if we're going to put all this effort and talk to lawyers and do all this stuff to have all these things worded correctly, and we have no ability to even enforce them in the first place. Is there another way to do enforcement? My husband used to live in an HOA in Corona that didn't have a gate, but they had a security guard. It wasn't up to the neighbors to tell on other neighbors. They had security drive around. They ticketed homes. They had teeth behind it, and if people were parking lots of cars around, they actually did something. They didn't just give warnings after warnings after warnings. It just seems like there's not any teeth to all these rules.
No.
I agree.
Well,
One of the reasons we decided to table this is because the proposal that we have in front of us right now to vote on takes the single-family homes from 7 days to 30 days, and the Springdales from 6 months back to 30 days. We don't think a 30-day lease is long enough. So that's why we'd like to table it, and maybe get everything up to 6 months, the same as the Springdales. But what we have before us to vote on is what I just said. And I don't think that's what we really want in this community.
I think also the fact that if the builder continues at the pace the builder's at, by next November, or basically a year from today, they will have sold their last house through escrow. At which point in time, the gate at Breckenridge will be turned over to us. And at that point in time, I think we'll have to sit down and take a good hard look at how we want to secure this place 24/7. We may in fact want to hire someone at the front gate 24/7, which would be a change, and actually lock the other 2 gates after a certain nighttime limit. It would be an inconvenience, of course, if you live over in phases D and E, but that would give us a little more security than we have now, because so many people know the code over there and it keeps being given away that we don't know what it's going to be. Well,
Danny appreciate
Don,
that.
I'm just speculating right now, so we don't have to discuss that. I'm just saying that so many things are gonna change when the builder moves out, that we're better off pushing this down the road until that time, and we find out.
I'd just like to ask Eric a question concerning what the lady said over here with people living in homes with grandchildren and stuff like that. Why she can't get an answer, Eric? Tell me why.
I didn't get an answer. It's unenforceable because it's too hard to prove if they have to take them to court.
Is that true?
I didn't hear what Sandra said.
I said, I did get an answer before, previous management, that it was unenforceable because it's too hard to prove those people are actually living there. If you were to take them to court, you couldn't really prove they were actually staying there overnight over 60 days.
I've not ever said that. I think
You
the board has addressed that in other cases. There has to be an investigation. We partner with the homeowners that live there because the homeowners that live by the alleged violator are the ones that would know, hey, you know, Joe has his son or grandson or family living with him 24/7. So we partner with the homeowners that live by that or by the alleged violation, and then the board addresses it in a hearing, and if they have to take them to court, then they would. But we have addressed it recently with other alleged violations. We're dealing with one right now. So it is something that we address. It takes time. It's not something we can go out and evict somebody right away. It takes time, and it takes a process.
One last question on that. Say, for instance, that you're able to prove what this lady says, that these people are doing it, when it comes to an end and they've been not allowed to be there, can you turn around and fine the homeowner for them?
The enforcement policy allows the board to fine for violations, to turn off transponders, to restrict access to the facility. So yes, that's all in the scope of what the board can do.
It just seems like in today's world, if you don't have maximum enforcement, you don't get anything. People just don't care. I had a situation, and I'd just like to bring it up, that I noticed a semi-truck that parks here, the tractor. It was a CR England red. So I came out of the lodge. I saw it. I wrote down the tractor number and the name of the company, and I gave it to the young lady at the desk. That was the third time I'd seen it. And so I thought, well, maybe they had taken care of it. That's all I could do at that time. So I, in my golf cart, just drive it around. And do you call them the condominiums by the windmill gate? I drive through there because I have a friend that lives in there. There's the tractor parked there. So nothing ever happened. I called CRE. I gave the tractor number and said, this is not allowed in our community. I used to be in logistics and transportation. And they called me back because I said, why isn't this tractor parked at your depot? They said they'd find out. They did call me back. They talked to the driver, who probably isn't working there anymore because they're a pretty tight company. But, I mean, these are the kind of things you get with lax enforcement. A tractor, a huge tractor parked in front of a unit in the condominiums there on the main street, which is Beaver Creek. So I think we need to do a better job on this. And if we need to pay more for more help to do it, I don't think most people here would, be against a little raise to get our security a little better. Again, I'm thankful for everything. This is a wonderful, the best place I've ever lived.
Great. We'll keep it that way.
Yeah.
So, does anybody want to sponsor or nominate this for action? That being the case, I'd say we drop it. And that concludes item 2, and we'll move on to item 3.
Homeowner input. Okay, first it is Anita.
Hi. The reason I'm bringing this up today is because our next board meeting is after this event. Our neighborhood watch meeting this coming November, the second Wednesday, we will feature the San Gregorian Historical Society. And it's going to be actually presented by one of our residents here, longtime residents, which is John McLaughlin. He was born here, his dad used to be a city council person here. Rhea McLaughlin has been here for the longest. So we're encouraging everyone to come out, and especially since this is being videoed and if anybody see it, everybody, we're encouraging attendance from all the board members, committee members, everyone else to come out and remembering our city and our town. So this is what you will see. Also, since we will have our board meeting after Veterans Day on Monday, November the 12th at the Beaumont City Hall, there will be a salute to veterans honoring all that have served. And it's from 11 o'clock in the morning to about, it's an hour, 12:30. And so they're encouraging everyone to come out. We'll give this to Irv to send it out to everyone. But please come and support. This is the first program that they've had at the City Hall. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. And next is Sandra Bell Roberts.
Well, I already said what I was going to say.
All right. That concludes.
Concludes our business.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Moved and seconded, we adjourn, all in favor? Aye. We're done.